We just finished up the Yankees, man. Yankee season is done, bro. I'm pissed off. So you know what? Let's just go into the theories, bro. Dark cartoon theories that will ruin your childhood, man. Let's see what the bull is all about, man. Let's check it out, man. I hope I don't get copyrighted. Please do not copyright me. I'm so close to getting a strike already, bro. Like a week into my channel, bro. Come on, bro.
For years, people have been uncovering disturbing hidden meanings and messages in children's cartoons. And some of them are so plausible, they can actually blow your mind. From a hidden angel of death in a Disney movie to a popular cartoon show that...
I love Pokemon, bro. When is that new game coming out? Bro, when is the new game coming out? I miss playing Pokemon.
Turned out to happen in Purgatory. Here are 15 dark cartoon theories that will ruin your childhood.
Okay. The finest. Okay.
Number 15. Squidward's theory.
What's about it? What about it?
If you're familiar with creepypastas, you're probably also familiar with the Squidward meme of him taking his own life. The terrifying meme started in the dark corners of the internet like 4chan and Reddit, where people would modify still images of the show SpongeBob SquarePants and add a little horror and creepiness to it. Hence the name creepypasta. That's where the meme of Squidward taking his own life began. In the meme, you could see the fictional character with a black background and shiny red eyes. It was quite horrifying, actually, but it stayed amongst the horror fan base of the internet for years, till now. The show's animators decided to incorporate the meme in one of their episodes, which is very strange, since the main demographic of the spectators are still children, and the subject is a little dark, to say the least. The episode in question shows SpongeBob and Squidward as they explore a town that mysteriously doesn't adhere to the rules of logic.
Bro, I miss SpongeBob, bro.
A row of doors appears, and Squidward proceeds to open one of them to see what's on the other side, only to find alternate versions of himself. At this point, the episode is already quite nightmarish, but it gets worse. One of the doors clearly shows him after taking his own life, and it's terrifying. Before we go on, like this video,
alright, bro.
All on your face.
Alright, bro. Okay.
Number 14. Toy Story 3 is about the Holocaust.
What? How?
As crazy
I love
as
Toy Story, bro.
Cartoon theories go, this might be the darkest.
Damn.
Some people believe that Toy Story 3 is about the Holocaust. You know, when Adolf Hitler killed 6 million people. How can a children's movie be about such a dark episode of our past? Well, for starters, the speech that Woody gives at the beginning of the film is almost identical to one in The Pianist, an award-winning Holocaust drama made by Roman Polanski. All the toys then decide to seek refuge in the attic, which is clearly a reference to Anne Frank, who was a Jewish little girl that had to hide in an attic from the Nazi soldiers. The toys are then all crammed into a box and taken away to a daycare center, which is a clear reference to the trains that took people to the concentration camps. You can argue that the daycare center is not a concentration camp, but in the movie, it isn't a happy place for the toys. The children constantly abandon them until they are too damaged. They then get sent down the waste chute, which might also be considered as a gas chamber.
Oh! Oh no! Oh no!
Similarities are too many to be a coincidence.
I see it.
Number 13.
This is a lightning then.
Mr. Krabs rescued Pearl from the hunters.
Okay.
There are a lot of different theories about Mr. Krabs and his daughter, Pearl, because as we all know, it would be impossible for a crab to have a whale as a daughter. The theory that seems to be the most accepted by the fans is the one that says he accidentally rescued Pearl when she was a baby because some hunters or fishermen killed her mother.
No, baby, no more crying! We'll get you a date!
So, seeing the little Pearl
hiding, bro? What's he hiding?
Scared, Mr. Krabs just took her with him and raised her as his own. This theory really fits because For example, Mr. Krabs has shown extreme fear of hooks and has repeatedly warned Patrick and SpongeBob of the grave danger of being near them. Also, Mr. Krabs loves money, and he hardly ever spends it or gives it to anyone. But if Pearl asks him for money, he gladly gives it to her. Maybe he feels bad because he couldn't save her mother. There are many other theories about this subject, but this is the one that seems to fit the best. Keep it in mind the next time you watch the show.
I got the homie SpongeBob
12.
like that, bro.
The Smurfs are anti-Semitic and racist. Antoine Bueno is a professor at the Paris-based university Sciences Po, and he recently published a book where he analyzes the Smurf society and political situation. Let me explain. He thinks the Smurfs children's TV show is anti-Semitic. He starts by stating that Smurfs live in a political dictatorship. They are discouraged from taking any kind of initiative, and they all eat together in the same communal room. There's only one leader, and they rarely leave their home country.
That makes sense.
I'm fine.
It's starting to sound like communist Russia, and there's more. Papa wears up. He starts by stating that Smurfs live in a political dictatorship. And then we have the #1 enemy of the state, Gargamel, which Bueno says is an anti-Semitic caricature of a Jew. In other words, your favorite kids show is a totalitarian utopia. There's even one episode where the Smurfs are bitten by a fly and their skin turns black and they lose the ability to speak. And that clearly has colonial overtones and also profound and clear racist traits. The craziest part about this theory is that it fits.
No, Smurfs about to get canceled, bro.
It was right in
Smurfs
front of
about to
our
get
eyes
canceled.
all this time and we didn't
I can see
even
it, bro.
notice.
Smurfs about to get canceled.
Number 11. Snow White is about cocaine and addiction.
Whoa!
The theory that the Disney movie Snow White
that.
is about cocaine addiction has been around for a long time, but it's easy to understand why. There are so many different coincidences that it might just be true.
Alright.
First of all, the name of the main character, Snow White. Now, I don't know if you know what cocaine looks like, but it is literally a white powder that looks exactly like snow. Then there are the names of the 7 dwarves, which are named after their personalities. And believe it or not, they match exactly the different stages of cocaine addiction and withdrawal. The first 2 are happy and grumpy, and those make a reference to the mood swings that are caused by using cocaine.
Oh no.
She wants to.
Addicts will have very aggressive mood swings several times a day. And then we have dopey, sleepy, and sneezy, which are nods to actual stages of being on the drug.
That's
Dopey
crazy.
literally means high. You sneeze a lot when you take cocaine because it's a powder and you take it through your nose. And then you finally feel incredibly sleepy after having spent all your energy running about. And finally, we have Snow White's big sleep, which could be an overdose. Or is that going too far? Number 10.
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh and friends have.
Oh yeah, I heard of this one. I heard of this one. I heard about this one.
It has long been speculated that every character in
this
Milne's Winnie the Pooh series represents a psychological disorder.
Yeah,
Recently, the Canadian Medical Association Journal published an article where you can find every diagnosis.
Yeah, I heard about that. Bro. I wanna play. Stop it.
Pooh is believed to be suffering from, of course, binge eating disorder. That means he has very low self-esteem that he tries to balance by eating non-stop. In real life, it's a very serious disorder that lots of people suffer from.
Oh, that happens to be my personal favorite.
Piglet was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which means that everything would stress him out to a level of huge discomfort. Eeyore, on the other hand, was thought to have a dysthymic depressive disorder, basically a very serious case of depression. If you feel like your childhood feelings could take some more heartbreak, good, because there are some more diagnoses. Tigger's disorder seems quite obvious.
ADHD,
he had
right?
ADHD because he was so hyperactive and impulsive. And finally, Rabbit was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. This can be extremely dangerous in real life. It makes for very toxic people that enjoy making others suffer. Which one did you feel you identified with as a child? So basically, Winnie the Pooh and friends were just a bunch of insane individuals completely denying their disorders and, in a way, validating each other's behaviors. If they were people, it would be called codependency, and it's not an easy thing to avoid. Number 9. Garfield is dying of starvation.
What?
A series of Garfield comic strips was released in October 1989 that literally freaked everyone out. They were about Garfield waking up only
He's
to
mad
realize
fat, bro.
he
How
was
is
in
he
an
not
empty
starving?
and abandoned house.
How is he
finally
starving and
accepting
starving?
that not only
How is he How is he dying of starvation, bro? Look at his body, bro. Look at his build.
was he alone,
Big body.
but that he had been for many years already. So basically, all the joyful strips that we are all so fond of a grumpy, lasagna-loving cat were merely Garfield's dream, his way to escape from the nightmare of his real life.
I can't believe you try to give Nermal away.
People were very quick to come up with their own theories. Some thought the cat had died and gone to hell. Others thought that Garfield was a stray cat starving to death and hallucinating about a home and an owner that fed him every day. The second theory is one that seems to make more sense, given that Garfield mainly only dreamed of food and is absolutely obsessed with lasagna. Although Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield, has often repeated that the Halloween strip was just a way of freaking people out, there were still a lot of skeptics out there that think all the other strips were a dream inside the Halloween one. What do you think? Number 8.
I don't know, bro.
Scooby-Doo was set during an economic depression. Have you ever wondered why it is that every single one of the places the characters in Scooby-Doo visit is completely run down? There is an urban legend that says it's because the show was set during a terrible economic crisis that was so devastated it even affected celebrities, famous athletes, and important scientists. Why else would all these people with the skill sets of having high-paying jobs devote their lives to petty crime by putting on costumes of scary monsters? It would also explain the fact that every school they visit is empty without any sign of student life anywhere.
We're not gonna let that scare him.
And finally, given that the gang is constantly driving their van with no clear destination, there's a big possibility they're simply homeless nomads. The other famous theory about Scooby-Doo is that him and Shaggy are very high all the time. And if you think about it, it fits. That's why they sleep all the time, and they're constantly hungry, called the Munchies. It also explains why they're very slow and forgetful, all signs of marijuana smoking. And finally, the darkest theory for last. Some people think that Shaggy's actually a drug addict, aka a junkie, and his drug-induced hallucinations make him believe that his recently deceased dog is still alive and can even talk. I bet you'll never see this show the same way ever again.
Yeah, I won't.
Number 7. The Brenda Theory. The Powerpuff Girls are one person.
Nah, they 3.
According to this conspiracy theory, the Powerpuff Girls are not 3 different girls with superpowers, but rather 3 different personalities of one very normal girl called Brenda. It is believed that Brenda developed dissociative identity disorder, also known as multiple personalities disorder, after years of enduring savage bullying from her brother. It's important to note that this disorder is very real, and it's only caused by a person suffering from an experience so incredibly traumatic, they literally invent another personality that is more equipped to deal with the pain. So Brenda creates 3 different girls with very different character traits that bravely fight the villains on a daily basis. That would mean the entire show takes place inside of Brenda's imagination. Her bully of a brother becomes Mojo Jojo. And as you might remember, Mojo Jojo was created by Professor Utonium, meaning he's the Powerpuff Girls' big brother. So Buttercup represents Brenda's anger and desire for revenge, and on the other hand, Bubbles represents her sensitivity and sweetness. And finally, Blossom is the perfect example of what kind of girl Brenda wishes to be. Calm, beautiful, and highly intelligent. Finally, we have the Mayor, who represents Brenda's helplessness and desire to ask for external help. So Brenda has elected him mayor because both of them are very similar. This theory fits so well with every detail, it's hard to believe it's not true. Number 6.
Number 6.
The Rugrats are all in Angelica's imagination.
What?
Have you heard of the Rugrats never happened theory? It's a conspiracy that started on Tumblr, and it basically speculates that the babies in the TV show were all made up by Angelica to cope with her absentee parents.
Bye, kids.
Interact socially with your
Tumblr user Radio Retaliation explains it this way. Chucky died with his mother, which explains why his father is such a neurotic, nervous wreck. Tommy was a stillborn baby. That would explain why Stu, his father, is always in the basement making new toys for the son he never had the chance to meet and play with. And finally, the DeVilles had an abortion, and because Angelica had no way of knowing the gender of the baby, she opted for both. Twins. A little boy and a little girl.
Wow.
This gives me goosebumps. This theory completely changes the tone of a seemingly innocent and fun children's cartoon.
So it's like all in her head. It's like all in her head. Yo, what is
building an
creepy, bro.
Entire group of friends in her
You're scary, bro.
head. Friends that could have been around her, but death took them away. And
Dang.
in ad-lib thoughts, she's also able to take out her aggressions on them, and they can't abandon her. It's a little too dark for a toddler to watch, don't you think? Number 5. Ash from Pokemon is in a coma.
What? Nah, bro. Alright, I gotta hear this, man, because I love Pokemon, so I gotta hear this, bro.
Falls around the fact that in the first episode of Pokemon, Ash fell into a coma after being hit with Pikachu's supercharged thunder attack. It wasn't Pikachu's intention to hit Ash, of course. The idea was to hit a flock of Spearow, but somehow it backfired. So some people believe that everything that happens after this event is simply Ash dreaming from a hospital bed where he will be in a state of coma for years.
Dang.
One of the facts that supports this theory is that Ash never grows older and never changes his appearance.
Oh, me? I thought it was awesome.
During the first season,
that makes
he says
sense,
at one point that he's 10 years old, and he remains that age all throughout the rest of the seasons. If a kid falls into a coma, it's logical that it will remain his age in his head until he wakes up again. It would also explain Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny being exactly identical everywhere he goes. The explanation of them all being identical sisters is highly improbable. What if they're figments of his imagination? Another strange thing that supports this theory is the fact that Ash never progresses past a certain point, which is very suspicious. Number 4.
Ooh. That's so true, bro. Because in Pokemon, like, he never, like... I don't know. How do I say it? Like, in Pokemon, he never, like... Well, he did once, but he never finished or beaten... a Pokemon League. Like, he never won a league, you know what I mean? And also, like, the story never ends. Like, his story never ends. It's like it always leaves us with like a cliffhanger. So we would have to wait the next season to see where he's going or what he's gonna do, you know what I mean? Yo, that's why he never ends his journey, because he's sleeping. Damn, okay. I mean, that was alright, man.
Peter Pan is the angel of death. Peter Pan is an all-time Disney classic. Aside from being a little bit racist, it's also hiding
Whoa, what's with these cartoons and being racist, bro? Come on, bro.
a secret meaning. There's a theory that stipulates
It's 2021, bro. Come on, bro. Oh my god.
that
Another
Peter
ad,
Pan is
bro.
actually an angel that is guiding children.
Another ad.
You're ready for a lifetime of being badasses.
Children
Right.
to heaven or Neverland.
I have a feeling a little trip to Neverland.
And that's why the kids never grow up, because they are all dead. And when you dig into the origins of the Peter Pan story, it all makes too much sense.
I never saw this show. Where was this show?
Maybe even a little too much for comfort. It
Nobody put me onto the show.
turns out Disney isn't the original creator of the story, but Scottish writer Sir James Matthew Barrie. And the original title of the book was Peter and Wendy. And Barrie lost his little brother David in a terrible ice skating accident only 2 days before his 14th birthday. The two brothers were very close, and this loss deeply affected both Barrie and his mother, who took solace in the idea that their son would never grow old this way. Knowing this, it becomes evident that David could have been a strong source of inspiration for Peter Pan. But there's more. When we look into the name Peter Pan, we quickly realize that Pan was an ancient Greek god. Pan was a mischievous deity of the woodlands and is often associated with innocence and immortality. Because Barry's no longer around, we can't really ask him if this theory is true. But there's a very big chance that Peter Pan is, in fact, an angel of death. Number 3.
Because he only appears to kids. Oh my gosh! He only appears to kids. Like, he's always around kids. And if the kids are dead, the kids are the only people that see him. Okay. Alright, man.
3.
All
The
right.
cars overthrew mankind. If you've seen
Oh yeah, because people are not visible in this world. There's only cars. I already know. Bro, come on. Do better, bro.
the Pixar movie Cars, you know they're set on this planet, but at a time in the future when there are no more human beings. So what happened to us? Why are we no longer around? Was it another meteorite like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs? Well, there's the theory that the cars simply took over and overthrew us.
That did not happen. Oh, yeah? Says you. Bye-bye.
This theory stands as one little piece of the much larger and more complex Pixar theory that tries to tie together all of the Pixar movies, but I digress. The world where the Cars characters live has clear signs that we existed before. I mean, we created Cars for ourselves, so the movie is set on this planet. What probably happened is that we started creating smarter and smarter cars to the point that they became sentient, and when that happened, we became, well, dead weight. This theory's been backed up by Jay Ward, who's the creative director of the Cars universe. So I guess it's not a theory anymore, but a cold hard fact.
Damn.
The cars in the Cars franchise became smarter than us and simply took over this world. I bet you're gonna look at your own car differently the next time.
Yo, I just thought of something. Yo, do you think Cars, like the movie Cars, is actually is actually warning us about the future, bro? Cause look, we got Teslas now that are so advanced and all that, bro. In years, we're gonna have cars that just move, that just go on autopilot. You don't even need to be driving. You don't need to be awake. You could just relax while your car takes you to your destination. And it's just going to be more advanced year after year, which is gonna make the cars even more intelligent, more smarter, like the cars here. Cars are taking over 2035, bro. Dang.
Have you go for a ride? Number 2. Ed, and Eddie are living in purgatory. The theory of Ed, and Eddie in purgatory started in the year 2012, and it speculates that basically they're all dead. Take a look at the color of their tongues, for example. They're all blue or green. Only dead people have tongues like that. And also their skin color, which is of a strange yellowish tone, exactly like dead people's skin color, which is of a strange yellowish tone, exactly like dead people. There's also the fact that there are no adults in the show. They're constantly mentioned, but they never appear, and that is very suspicious.
Stay calm, Eddie. Think. I know. I'll hide it.
And the fact that they are all in purgatory would explain the irregularities within the time frame of the cartoon. Sometimes you can see typewriters, sometimes VHS machines, and in other episodes they are using computers. And that doesn't make any sense. Usually, in a normal setting, you wouldn't use electronics from that big of a range in history. So the theory says that this happens because each character's from a different time of American history, from the 20s to the year 2000. And that's why there are so many historical discrepancies. We can't know for sure if the creator of the show explicitly did this on purpose, but it really fits. Number
that was
1.
alright. Alright, number 1. We got number 1.
Wile E. Coyote is in hell. Wile E. Coyote is a classic kids cartoon that debuted in 1949, and the show consists almost exclusively of the coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner and failing miserably time after time again. The Roadrunner always outwits the coyote at the last minute and gets away in a very mocking way. If you've seen this cartoon, you know that the coyote has his plans backfire in his face quite grandiosely thousands, if not millions of times.
Yeah.
But he always seems to come back to to this nightmarish world where the object of his desire is always at arm's reach, but he can never touch it. Sounds like torture, right? There's a theory that stipulates exactly that. The coyote would actually be stuck in his own personal hell for all eternity. It almost sounds like the Greek myth of Tantalus.
Oh, it's like he's in this world and he's trapped. Ah, alright.
A punishment from the gods, doomed to eternally be thirsty but never being able to drink water. I don't know about you, but I think that eternal suffering as the main theme for a kid's show seems a little bit dark, don't you think? I don't know about you guys, but I
That's
didn't
dark.
expect so much darkness hidden in my favorite cartoons. It's
Yo,
a little
relax,
bit freaky
man.
that we can't see these things when we were kids. What about you? Have you discovered some horrible secrets hidden between...
Dang, bro. That's crazy. They're really exposing the shows, bro. Dang.